That's God willing. I'm trying to change the world. Gotta teach the children. I ain't never letting them. I gotta stack a billion. Stay away from the fake like they reptilian. Hill game on the rise, know we all killing. I got blood in my eyes and I can't see.
The Namikaze clan will be cousins to the Uchiha clan, but they won't have the Sharingan. They'll have they'll be able to adapt to people's speed, and so they were one of the founding clans too. And so the Uchiha always kind of despised the Namikaze clan because one of their own kin like left, and so they always kind of despised them. And so, well, but Minato got a little friendship with them, so the Uchiha clan massacre will be like postponed, like will go out longer due to Fugaku saying we were kind of friends with the fourth Hokage, but by age 16 of Naruto, that won't happen because they'll be fed up. And so yeah, so Sasuke gets his family to like 15, yeah, 15. And so at age 4, Naruto's getting chased. He's getting chased by the villagers, but he can always outspeed them, and then this getting appeared in front of him and slashed down. Then Naruto appeared in the middle of his mind, and then he sees this old geezer. He says, "Hey, old geezer, what you doing here?" And then Hagurama chuckles, saying, "Hey, Naruto, this is the Nine Tails." And so then Naruto smiled. And so then then Hagurama says, "Your parents are Minato and Kishina." And so Naruto says, "Oh, straight away." And Hagurama says, "Yes, we have to train you to become the next sage of six paths." And so Naruto says, "Oh, and why would I do that?" And he says, "To bring peace to the ninja world, to make sure their Jinchuriki don't get treated the way they do." And Naruto nodded at him, saying, "Yes." And so he says, "Well, you're the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails." And I added both of his souls back because I can do that. And so this is the full Nine Tails. And your body's not suffering due to anything because I put my chakra into you. And so the Ashura and Indra cycle has also been terminated when I chose you to be my successor. And Naruto says, "So who was going to be the Indra?" And so he says Sasuke Uchiha, but he is but bad things are going to happen to my son's clan. And he says, "Oh, who was your son?" He says, "Indra, old Otsutsuki. He created the Uchiha clan, and that's what happened to them. They sloped too far down." And Naruto said, "Okay." And so Hagama says, "So at age 4, I will train you. Then when you are age 8, you will ask Hiruzen and tell him about your heritage. And so you'll keep secret about it till you're age 8. And Naruto nodded, and then Hagurama says, "So I'll train you on chakra control, ninjutsu, and on your 3 chakras." And Naruto says, "Wait, I have 3 chakras?" And he nods, saying, "You have your own. You have Kurama's," pointing at him. And then he said, "And then you have yours and mine combined." And Naruto says, "Oh, okay." And so he says, "Naruto, since you're basically in part Otsutsuki," yes, he is, "because you're part Otsutsuki, you will you can take the full power of Kurama, but right now you can only take like one tail since you have Otsutsuki genes." And Naruto says, "Oh, okay." and he says, "You have Otsutsuki genes because you have taken both my brother's heritage line, and then it goes into your body, making you part Otsutsuki." And so Naruto nodded. He's saying, "Okay, I understand." And so he says, "Good. So now, um, let's get started." And so Naruto went to the Forest of Death, and he made and Hagoromo says, "Make a blood clone, and he'll take all your money. And blood clones don't need food. You'll get food here." And so Naruto nodded. And so Naruto lives there with his blood clone, just taking all the money and not eating. And so Naruto learns chakra control first. Then he learns ninjutsu. Then he learns taijutsu and all that stuff. And so Hagoromo tells Naruto that I will teach you tons of ninja art, no, tons of taijutsu and like techniques. And so you'll have to rock fist and all them and then combine it like I did, making it very lethal. And so Naruto gets that, and so gets tons of other stuff. And so by the end of the 4 years, Naruto is about high tuning, low jonin level. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. And so then Hagoromo says, "Naruto, you have become really strong, and so I believe in you. And so, well, now you have to tell Hiruzen." And so Naruto dispels his blood clone, and then he tells Hiruzen about he knows his parents, and then tells him how with an excuse, like a random excuse. And then Hiruzen says, "So what do you want?" Naruto says, "Well, I want the Namikaze Uzumaki clan funds." And Hiruzen says, "Oh, of course, Naruto, and you can live there." And Naruto smiles, saying, "That'll be perfect." And so Hiruzen announces him clan head and stuff. And so people change their opinion on Naruto. But Naruto has none of it. He doesn't want any attention. And so Hagoromo says, "Don't pay attention to them. Only pay attention to the people who actually care about you." And Naruto nods. And so Naruto gets a kimono and is now clan head and lives in the Namikaze clan area. And he activated all the seals again, which made the whole house clean. And so Danzo tried to sneak in and kidnap Naruto, but the seals made Danzo get fried. And so, well, now the Uchiha clan aren't really liking Naruto because he restarted the Namikaze Uzumaki clan. And so he is from two of the three founding clans of Konoha. And so he's not really liking that. And so Fugaku just decides to ignore him for now. And so Naruto has been training a ton, and he even got the flying Rasen. And so people at his school try to butter him up. And so when he gets there for the first day, he says hi, but everybody was trying to surround him and stuff. But he ignores them, and then he sees a young Hyuga girl. And so, yes, it will be a Naruhina ship. And I have some plans. If you guys want to get into Boruto, I have no problem with that, because the child will have Hagoromo and Hamura's chakra. Boruto will be so overpowered. But yeah. And so now Naruto. So now Naruto sits by Hinata saying, "Hi, how are you?" And she says, "Oh, I'm good." And she says, "Why are you sitting by me?" like there's a whole crowd that wants to sit by you. Naruto says, "Oh, I don't care for people like that. I only care for people who actually care about me for what I am, for not what I belong to." And she nods and she says, "I'm the daughter of Hiyashi Hyuga, the clan head." And Naruto says, "Oh, okay. So you're the Hyuga princess." And she nods, blushing at his statement, and he says, um, "We'll wanna go train after school?" And she says, "Sure." And so then she tells her father that, and then he says, "Yes, yes, it's perfectly fine. I fully support you training with him. Like, if anything, train with him more." Wanting the Namikaze Uzumaki clan on their side, but Hana, he is tells her, don't don't try to seduce him or anything like your father wants. Just um be yourself, and if you like him, date him. And so she hugs her daughter, and then sh he not to blushes and leaves, saying thank you, father. And so she goes to train with Naruto, and Naruto makes a blood clone to go train. And so Hagoromo says, "We're gonna train your flying Rajin and your Rasengan more." And so Naruto nods, and he says, "And then in 1 year we'll start your Fuinjutsu training." And so Naruto nods, and so time skip 3 years. Naruto has gotten really close with Hinata, and so he asks her on a date with some confidence and from Hagoromo and Kurokuma nudging him to. And so they go on a date at Ichiraku, and when Naruto's going crazy on them with his ramen, Hinata goes even crazier. She is eating them quickly, my guy. And so then they're like Ichiraku is shocked. She's like, "Naruto, she's eating more than you." And so Naruto blushes at this, and so he looks at Hinata, and she has her smile, and so Naruto blushes, and so by the end of the day, Naruto pays, and she says, "Oh, Naruto, I can pay for my food. I have the money." And Naruto says, "No, it's fine." And so she says, "Okay." And so then when they are going on the walk, Naruto's saying, Hinata, "I have to tell you something." And she says, "Yeah." And she says, and he um bows down before her, and he asks, "Will you date me, Hinata?" And she says, "Naruto." And then she lifts up his chin, saying, "Of course, Naruto." And then she envelops him in a deep kiss, letting him go. And Naruto grabs her back, kissing her more. And he says, "So what now?" She says, "Well, we're dating." And so Naruto says, "Oh, let's do that training I said." And she says, "Okay." And Naruto says, "I have an idea for your training." And she says, "Yeah, what is it?" And he says, "Add lightning to your jabs, and and I'm gonna teach you 64 palms for this year, and I'm gonna try to teach you some of that rotation you're trying to do, or your father did." And so, Hinata nods, and so by the end of the year, Hinata gets really stronger, and she can add lightning to her jabs, shocking the person's chakra points and even destroying it, kind of. Not destroying it fully, but like they can't reopen it. So it's like when they hit you with that lightning 64 palms, like you can't reopen that for like a day. And so she says, "Naruto, thank you for helping me," and bows down before Naruto. And saying, Naruto says, "You can stand back up." And she says, "Yeah." And Naruto kisses her, saying, "I'll do anything to help you." And so now, when Naruto's blood clone disappears, Naruto has gotten so much power. His body glows with blue surrounding him. And then, like, 50 Anbu pair with Hiruzen, saying saying, Naruto, your chakra. And Naruto says, oh, sorry, I made a clone to train, it's been training for like 4 years. And so then it just, yeah, I just got a huge chakra boost and stuff. And they both nod, saying, okay. And so then they go away. And so then Naruto's saying, well, so what now? And so she says, well, see you, Naruto. We have like one more year before the academy ends. And he says, yeah, let's train some more with that, trying to get you at least 180 rotation. And she nods at Naruto, smiling at him. And so he smiles back, saying, okay, let's go, Hinata. And so Hinata and him got way closer, and all the girls are jealous of Hinata. And Ino even tried to get Naruto, but he always had her eyes on him. But Sakura is in love with her Sasuke-kun. And I have some plans for Sakura and Sasuke in the future. In the future. And so, well, now Naruto says, okay. And so then now it's time, when Naruto's training in like his 4th year all by himself, Itachi is walking by that training field, but then he senses something inside Naruto. And he thinks to himself, that might be the thing that might give me a challenge. And so, for the plot to be good, for Itachi's growth in like his self, I'm going to have him have another big brother figure in his life. His name will be Raya Uchiha, and so he will be very close with Shisui, and he'll be the one that trains him Shisui, Itachi, and him. And so Raya will die in a mission with him, and he gives Shisui the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, making Shisui way stronger. And so Itachi gets the Mangekyo Sharingan. And so, yeah, and so Itachi looks at Naruto with wonder, thinking, Naruto. And so, Itachi went to Fugaku that day and says, there's something about Naruto Namikaze that interests me. That interests me very much. It's something about him. And so Fugaku says, I don't know what you see in that boy. He's just a weak Namikaze. And so Itachi just ignores his father. And his mother smiles at Itachi, and she says, I hope Kushina's boy is doing good. And then Fugaku scoffs, thinking, I should have had Kushina. It will be the perfect child, a Uzumaki Uchiha child. The power's limitless. But then he gets mad, saying, but that Namikaze scum godnor. And so Fugaku just sighs and then lays back in his chair. And so Sasuke said, yeah, what's so good about a Namikaze scum? And so the Uchiha clan kind of hates the Namikaze because one of their own left to make the Namikaze clan, and so they don't like it. But they can't do anything. And so Naruto has gotten way stronger, and he has hidden his power. Yes, he has hidden his power, but he has always beaten Sasuke in their spars. And so time skip reverse back, and Naruto's first match against Sasuke. Sasuke says, I don't know what my brother sees in you, but you're weak. And so Naruto says, oh, really? Dang. And so Sasuke gets mad and charges at Naruto. And so then Naruto appears behind him, kicking him, making him fall on his face. And then Naruto makes Sasuke have his hand behind his back. And so Naruto shows no mercy towards Sasuke. He doesn't feel anything because Hagurama told him what's going to happen to them, and so he will try to change him, but he he knows the inevitable will happen. He will turn on the village, and so he's trying to help out Sasuke. He says, Sasuke, I can help you train, and we can be friends. And then Sasuke says, never. I will never be friends with a Namikaze. And then he says, never. I'd rather die. And Naruto frowns, saying, okay. And so, Hagurama tells Naruto, Sasuke, still will have Indra's chakra. So, Indra and Ashra's chakra went back to the respective hosts, but I hold it off Ashra's chakra in you and Sasuke. But I can't hold it off for long. I can only hold it off till you're 15. And so you and him will get a huge boost when you're 15. And Naruto nods, saying, okay. And so, Hagurama smiles, saying, okay. And so, he tells Naruto, you're about high Jonin level, and so you're about as strong as Kakashi, the copy ninja, but you're not stronger than Itachi Uchiha. He's really strong, and he said it'll take you a few years to get to him. And so Naruto nods, saying, okay. And so Hagurama says, let's train more on getting the Nine Tails and your white chakra. And so Naruto nods, and so starts training. And so time skip to the present, and Naruto can take 3 tails, and he can also, and so he's kind of very strong. And so he also can do the flying rising and is really good at it. And he is a seal master. And so he can control his seal. And Hagurama tells Naruto, once you can take up to 5 tails, you will undo the seal. And so since you're Otsutsuki, even if Kurama tried, he couldn't get out. And since I put my Otsutsuki chakra, it's even stronger. So Kurama has no chance of breaking out of you or you dying, even if he does. And so Naruto nods at Hagurama, saying, okay. And so, time skip to the test, and Mizuki faces Naruto having to get 10 hits on him, and he has 10 minutes. And so Mizuki charges at Naruto, thinking it said, if I kill him now, he's a demon. He's a demon. He should die. And so then he runs at Naruto, charging at him with like Chunin speed and stuff, but Naruto isn't phased. And so then lands a punch to Mizuki's stomach, and like Mizuki is actually going to try hard, and Iruka tells Mizuki to stop, but he doesn't. And so Naruto lands a punch to his gut, and so he starts trying now. And so then he kicks Mizuki away, and then appears behind him, and then gives him a vicious combo. And then he thinks 5 hits, 6 hits, 7 hits, 8 hits, 9 hits, and then slams him to the ground with a kick, 10 hits. And so then Iruka says, good job, Naruto. Mizuki, go to the Hokage. You went full strength against the not even a Genin. And so Mizuki scoffs and then throws his shuriken at Iruka, but then Naruto appears behind Mizuki, chopping his neck. And so then Mizuki gets executed for treason and attacking a fellow comrade. And so, like Inoue wiped out, they checked his mind to see Orochimaru and him talking and stuff. And so, yeah. And so, Naruto passes with getting the substitution and a clone jutsu easily. And so now Naruto. Um, so go back like 1 year, and Itachi requests to get out of the Anbu to train Naruto, Namikaze Uzumaki, and he says why, and he says, "Oh, I found interest and I want to train him," and he said, "And could I get Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame?" And he says, "This is some bold request. Would Fugaku like this?" And Itachi says, "I don't care what Fugaku thinks. He doesn't control me. Since I'm a ninja, I can do whatever I want, and I'm technically able to do whatever I want. And he isn't under my control since I'm a ninja of the leaf, not a ninja of the police force." And so he moves and says, "Okay, Itachi, I understand." And um, they name teams, and all the girls are jealous that Hinata gets Naruto, but then she gives them a vicious look. And so Hinata, I would say she's a little bit under Neji, and so she got 120 palms, but she couldn't get the full rotation, so she got a 325 rotation, but she'll get it soon. And so her and Neji are about the same, but if I was to say, Neji would get a bit edge because people saw her growth in the Hyuga clan, and Hiyashi smiled, thinking, "Thank you, Minato. You gave my daughter a person that boosted her confidence and made her a true leader. She will be the true heir to the Hyuga clan." And so the Hyuga clan are basically calmed down, and so yeah. And Neji has gotten calmer and still resents them, but not as much because they haven't done anything. And Hinata's goal to take away the bird seal has actually made people think about removing it. And of course, the Branch family agrees with it, and so they just need Hiyashi's approval. And so they think either Hinata takes it when she becomes leader, or they take it off now. And so they're happy. And so, yeah. And so Naruto says, "Are you ready?" Hinata smiling at her, and she says, "Yeah, Naruto." And Naruto smiles at Shino, saying, "Hi, nice to meet you. I mean, we've talked as we were kids, but nice to meet you." And so Shino says, "Nice to meet you too. Can't wait to be partners with you." And Naruto shook his hand, saying, "Oh, wanna go get some ramen?" And Shino says, "Oh, sure. I never had a taste for ramen, but we can have it." And so they went out, and Shino says, "This is really good." And so Naruto says, "Yeah, it's the food of the gods." And Shino just laughs at Naruto's antics. And so Naruto says, "Oh, wanna train?" And so Shino says, "Sure." And Naruto says, "I have an idea for your bugs." And so you know how your bugs can use your chakra. So Shino nods, saying, "Yeah." And Naruto says, "You should use some earth chakra and some lightning chakra." And so when they take their chakra, it will shock their body, putting their nerves in like a paralyzation. And so then it'll be perfect. And so your bugs can just take them out quicker and easier. And so Shino says, "Naruto, that's genius. I have to tell my father." And so Naruto says, "Oh, sure. Hope the Aburame and the Namikaze Uzumaki clan have a good alliance and stuff." And Shino says, "Yeah, most definitely." And so then Shino trains, and so he's getting it pretty well. And so Shino tells Shibi Aburame this, and Shibi goes right to Naruto's Namikaze house, appearing, saying, "Thank you. Thank you. What can I do for you? Our clan is in your debt. This will train the younger generations. You have made a big role to the Aburame clan. You have made us much stronger. I used it when we're in a battle. It's very helpful. You're genius." And he said, "If you weren't a Namikaze Uzumaki, I would have mistaken you for Aburame." And Naruto smiled at Shibi and says, "Oh, it's no problem. Hope our clans um can become a really good clan to together and friends." And so he nods, saying, "I'll tell my father this." And so him and Naruto finishes the training, and he's gotten really stronger with it. And so him and his father trained some more with it, and his father went to sign some papers, and then said, "I'm going to the Namikaze Uzumaki house to thank Naruto myself. He has helped out the clan more, and this will be training for the Aburame clan." And yeah, he goes off. And so then Naruto says, uh, "Yes, Mr. Shibi-sama," from the from his clan. And so he says, "No formalities. We're good friends now." Naruto says, "Oh, what did I do?" And then he says, "You have helped out our clan by making our whole body emit um earth, chakra, wind, and lightning. It makes our bugs way stronger, and they feed on our chakra more, actually enveloping it in their bodies, making them more durable, stronger, and so they have like a shell, like armor." And so he says, "Thank you. How can I repay you?" Naruto says, "Oh, you don't have to do much. I just want to be good with all clans." And Naruto says, "Especially I'm in your debt when you help me." And so he's and so Shibi says, "Oh, I wrote this. Nobody has ever made this before, but I believe our clan needs it." And so he says, "Oh, what is it?" And he says, "It is a clan alliance, basically. It'll be just an alliance between our clans that will help out our clans when we need it." And he says, "I think our clan can help you with materials and starting back up your clan." And so Naruto says, "Oh, thank you." And so he says, "Oh, no problem." And so Naruto says, "Well, thank you," and then bowed his head. And Shibi says, "No, thank you. You have helped out our clan, and maybe we'll be as big as the Hyuga one day." And Naruto chuckled, and then he says, "And maybe the Uchiha." And so Naruto smiled at Shibi's antics and says, "Okay." And so he says, "Whoops, see ya, Naruto-sama." And so Naruto says, see ya, Shibi-sama." And so Shibi leaves in a flock of leaves. And so Naruto thinks, "Cool, a clan alliance." And so the next day in the council room, Shibi and Naruto talk about their clan alliance. And so they add more clans to it. The Hyuga clan has joined thanks to Naruto and Hinata's thing. And the Yamanaka, Nara, and them also joined, making the clan alliance thing very powerful. And so the Uchiha clan is feeling more resentment to Naruto's clan thanks to him doing that for the Aburame clan and stuff. And they said, "How dare they leave us out of this?" And so they just ignore all the other clans that didn't get in. But yeah, because they got the most powerful clans in the clan alliance. And so Hiruzen smiles at what Naruto did. And so Shibi says, "Thank you." And so Naruto says, "Oh, no problem." And so he says, "Whoops, see you guys." And so he leaves. And Danzo says, "I need that boy. I need that boy. I need that boy." He'll be an asset to the leaf. And so Hagurama tells him and Kurama, "Watch out about Danzo." And so Naruto says, "How can I make sure he doesn't bother me or his route?" And Hagurama says, well, you can do something. And so Naruto asks what? And so he says, well, Danzo is sending root after you right now to, well, kill you or bring you to him. And so Naruto says, oh, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And so he says, okay, Naruto, here's what you have to do. And so he tells him, when you kill them, you take their tongue of the Danzo's curse mark, and then you put a seal on it. Remember that seal I taught you? So it's a seal that prevents Danzo or anybody basically abducting or taking Naruto. And if he even touches Naruto or his skin, well, let's say he'll get launched back like 1 mile. And so it'll be like a supercharge of just pure chakra shooting at Danzo away. And so Naruto took out his katana and sliced them in half, then took one of their heads, and then sees Danzo's curse mark about to appear, but then puts his seal on it, and then Danzo appears saying, "You're coming with me, Naruto," and then he lifts up his other eye, but then Naruto turns away, trying to run away, but then Danzo grabs his shoulder. And so then Naruto says, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And so Danzo says, why? And then he gets pushed back like 1 mile away. And then he uses Izanagi when he's like about to fall to his death. And he thinks, what did he do to me? And so he says, he must have placed the seal on my people's curse marks that made me not able to touch him or anybody en route. And so, he thinks that kid's smart. And so now, Naruto gets ready for tomorrow. And so, when Itachi says, go to the top, Naruto body flickers up. And so, yeah. And so, he says, what's your dreams, ambitions, goals? And Naruto says, I want to become Hokage, and I want to be the person who brings peace to the ninja world, and become the next stage of 6 paths. Smiling. And then Itachi smiles at Naruto, and then Hinata. Then he says, I want to marry Hinata Hyuga, and I want to be the best. And I want to be the best husband and the best Hokage that ever lives. And so then Itachi smiles. And so then he says, and then he tells Shino to go next. And then Shino says, I want to be the person who has a certain person achieve his goals, looking at Naruto. And Naruto smiles at him. And so then Hinata says, I want to be the most powerful Kunoichi, stronger than Tsunade. And I want to just be strong for my Naruto-kun. And so now Itachi says, perfect. So for our getting test, I will put you guys in intense genjutsu. If you guys can survive and will take it, or if you dispel it, you pass. And so they nodded, and so then Itachi went to his 3 Tomoe Sharingan and put him in his strongest genjutsu for his 3 Tomoe. And so Naruto gets out immediately because Kurama and him knowing basically to dispel it, and he knows how to dispel genjutsu. And so then Hinata uses her Byakugan, and then she just starts like basically pumping chakra into her body. And so when Naruto gets up, he just undoes Shino and Hinata's. And so Itachi says, "Congratulations, you pass." And so let's get to training. And so he says, first, we'll do chakra control. And so Shino and Hinata walk up the tree, but Naruto already knows that and tells him that. And so he says, "Oh, I knew that, and so I have a different kind of training for you." Naruto says, "Oh, what kind?" And he says, "You're KK Genkai of the Namikaze clan." Naruto says, "Oh, you know of it?" And he says, "Yes, I do." And he says, "I want you to go full powered in taijutsu against me, and we'll see the limits." And so yeah, so then Naruto and Itachi are sparring in taijutsu, with Naruto always getting an edge because it's KK Genkai, but then he gets tired and passes out. But Itachi says, "Remarkable, Naruto. If you up your stamina and stuff, you'll be on the level of Might Guy." And Naruto smiles saying, "Thank you." And so he says, "No problem." And so he says, "For our training, we'll be training on upping your endurance and stuff." And Naruto says, "Oh, I read a scroll on that, and I think I have something." And he says, "Oh, what is it?" And he says, "Gravity seals." And so Itachi says, "Yeah, put them on, and always have them on." And so he says, "Oh, well, there's 20 levels, and these are Uzumaki gravity seals. They're unlike others. And so these are gravity seals that only the Uzumakis can do because of its pressure. Anybody else would die." And Itachi is shocked. Would die? Oh my gosh. And so then Naruto puts on it, and for each level, it's 50 times gravity. And so then Naruto goes straight to the ground, crouching, saying, "Oh, so heavy." And so Itachi is like, "Whoa." And so he says, "Naruto, start crawling, then try to get on your knees walking, then start running." And so Naruto says, "Okay, Itachi sensei." And so Itachi smiles at Naruto saying, and then Naruto gets up and starts walking, then jogging, then running. And so that's what they do. And time skip like a month, and they have done tons of D ranks. And so when Sasuke complained, saying, "I am elite Uchiha, I deserve a C rank at least." And he recently said, "Actually, your team is in the middle of the beginning teams." He said, "Who's the best?" And he says, "Team 13 with Naruto, Uzumaki, Namikaze, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburame." And so he says, "How are they so good?" And he said, "Well, they finish their missions fast because of their teamwork. It's like they think the same thing when they're doing missions." And Kakashi smiles, proud of Naruto. And so then Sasuke says, "Okay, we still deserve it." And so then Hiruzen brings in Tazuna and says, "Well, this is a B rank mission, and I'm gonna bring 3 Jonin." And yeah, and Naruto is about is strong too. So, and Hinata, Hyuga, and Shino, and so this team should be more than enough to face like ninja. And so Sasuke smiles, and so they head off in 3 hours. So Naruto seals all his stuff and Hinata stuff in a scroll and Shino's, and Sasuke and them are carrying a big bag, and Sakura's carrying a big bag with mostly perfume and stuff, and Kakashi's doing the same with him sealing stuff in scrolls. And so they head off. And so they're on guard. Even Sakura's kind of scared. And so then Demon Brothers pop out. Naruto appears behind them. And so then he chops their necks, making them fall to the ground. And then Sasuke is amazed at the speed, and Kakashi is. And Itachi smiles at Naruto. And he says, "Good job, Naruto." And Naruto says, "Yeah." And so, um, and so they, and then they say Zabuza and Momochi will be probably fighting you next. And so, uh, and so Kakashi nods. And so then, um, and so then they continue the mission. And so then they, get confronted by Zabuza. And so Haku pops out too, seeing freaking Itachi and Kakashi, two amazing Sharingan users. And so Zabuza has a friend watching in the background. It's his brother, um Abuza. Yeah, Abuza. His name is Abuza. I know, right? What a perfect name, Abuza. And so Zabuza is in a heated fight with them, and Abuza appears and is like the same skill level as Zabuza, if not stronger. So he faces Itachi, and Kakashi faces Zabuza. And so Naruto and Sasuke faces Haku, with Naruto bodying Haku. And so when Haku faces Naruto, it it's hard for Haku, so he aims for Naruto. No, he aims for Sasuke more, and Naruto's protecting Sasuke. And so Sasuke awakens his Sharingan due to the pressure of the fight and smiles. So he tries to act triumphantly, saying, "Out my Sharingan, back up, Namikaze." And Naruto shrugs, backing up, not protecting Sasuke. So Sasuke gets bodied and then falls to the ground. And then Naruto decides to finish the match, and so he says, fire style, white fireball. And so it burns Haku's ice mirrors, and then Naruto appears behind Haku because his white chakra absorbs KK Genkai. It absorbs its chakra. And so then Haku and Naruto's beating on Haku right now, and so then Naruto punches Haku, and then Hagoromo gives Naruto and teaches him this thing real quick, and then Naruto makes chakra rods and putting all throughout Haku's body. And so Kakashi and Itachi both use Raikiri, and Kakashi taught Itachi this, and Zabuza and Abuza died. And so then they finished the bridge, and so then they think that they're dead, but Abuza's still alive, and Zabuza's still alive, barely. So you see, Kakashi and Itachi missed the heart. Yes, they missed the heart, and they were both tired from their fights, and so they fell to the ground immediately. And so after like a week and a half, they are both at full power, and they come back with Haku too. And so they fight them again. And so Naruto is ready. And so when Naruto meets Haku, he knows it's Haku and stuff. So he takes Haku and just kills him, saying, "You're much of a bore," and makes sure he's dead. And so then Zabuza and Abuza are mad at this, and so Naruto appears with them and is actually fighting with Itachi against Abuza. And so Naruto is doing combination fire style jutsus with Itachi, and is keeping up with Abuza because he can adapt to his speed. And so Naruto appeared behind him and then put his sword into his heart, being faster than him. And so Abuza coughs the blood. "You'll pay for this." And so then he dies. And so then Zabuza sees this and is raged, and then runs at Naruto, and then Naruto sees this. And so then he uses the same speed that Zabuza's doing, and then slices Zabuza in the heart. And then he says, sheds a tear, saying, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me." And then sheds a tear. And so then he says, no problem, I guess. And so then, then Zabuza says, just be strong. Be strong. And so then Naruto says, oh, I promise. I promised. I promise. And so he says, perfect. And so he dies by the hands of Naruto. And so he says, become Hokage. And I want you to take my sword. And Naruto says, I already have a sword. Then he says, wait, I know your sword's probably more groomed and stuff. But he says, but I want you to combine the metal of that sword with this one. It will be the strongest blade. And I want you to be as strong and use the Red Death style. I always wanted to use the Red Death, but I wasn't as athletic, and only Uzumaki can be really proficient with it. And so I want you to learn it, please. And he begs Naruto. Naruto says, of course. And then Zabuza died. And then Naruto cries, saying, good people shouldn't die. And so, Zabuza dies by the hands of Naruto. And so, it gets called the Great Naruto Bridge. And so, he gets called the hero of the mist. And Tazuna actually got all of Gato's money, and so the bridge gets built and the land is saved. And so he's happy, saying thank you guys. And he says, Naruto, I'll pay you 5,000 yen every single week. And so Naruto says, really? Why would you? I just helped. And so he says, no, you saved us. You played a huge role. And so then Naruto says, okay. And so then he says, also, we will hold a party tomorrow in honor of you. And Sasuke said, I did stuff too. And Naruto asks, Sasuke, what did you do? And so Sasuke said, I helped you against Haku. And so Naruto says, actually, when you awakened your Sharingan, you just told me to back away, and I was protecting you the entire fight with needles and stuff. And so, then he ignores Sasuke. And so, Naruto leaves, and Naruto becomes the hero of the mist, and also gets into the bingo book. See, so a hidden cloud ninja and a hidden stone ninja, or whatever, hidden rock. And so now Naruto goes back to the leaf, and they get told about the Chunin exams. And so Hagoromo tells Naruto that there will be the One-Tails in the Chunin exams, and I sense him. Sasuke's team is confronting them, and yeah. And so Naruto nods. And so he says, so what do I do? And so he says, you have to do something that I would never do, but my son's going. Meaning his Tobi son, he's going too far. And so Naruto asks, so what do you want me to do? He says, I want you to stop him. And something's bad coming to the hidden leaf. I don't know, but it's something. And Naruto is thinking, what about Orochimaru? And then he asks, why would you think the snake's signing? And Naruto says, think about it. Sasuke and me will be in this exam. And Orochimaru wants a body because he's known for wanting to be immortal. And he always loved the Uchiha Kekkei Genkai and tried to take Itachi as a kid. And so, then Hiruzen says, yeah, that does make sense. And so he says, yeah. I mean, Hagoromo says that. And so he says, go tell Hiruzen Sarutobi this. And so Naruto goes to tell Hiruzen. And Hiruzen sees the tons of possibilities in this and says, okay. I'll have Anko and Ten Ambu accompany Sasuke's team in the shadows. And I'll have Tsunade there too, but with them. And so Naruto nods. And so, and then he said, then I'll have Jiraiya be with your team from VAR. And so Naruto nods and okay. And so he says, well, get ready for the exams. And so Naruto heads to the tower. No, not head to the tower, but heads to the academy. And so when he gets in the room, he sees Sasuke beat up, and he said, who beat you up? Let me guess, Rock Lee. So Sasuke says, yeah, what's it to you? And Rock Lee says, it's you. And he says, oh, yeah, it is me. And so Rock Lee says, no, Guy Sensei always taught Tai about Minato Namikaze, your father. And he said, your father was a true victim to hard work and even trained Guy Sensei in taijutsu. And Naruto says, oh, yes, Guy thinks so highly of me. And he said, no, your father taught him how to make his taijutsu even better, making him when Guy goes full power, which he hasn't went in years. When he goes full power, he's about S rank. And so, yeah. And so, yeah. And so, when he said, thank you, and yeah, thank you, for a compliment. And Rock Lee said, yeah, so, yeah, see ya, Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. And Naruto says, bye. And he said, oh, my guy wants a signature. And Naruto laughs and says, okay, sure. And so he signs his name. And so then Rock Lee heads off. And Neji just says, destiny says I shall beat you. And Gaara looks at Naruto thinking, I shall prove my existence to him. And so, Naruto heads in, and for the first exam, he easily gets it from, basically, he freaking gets taught by the SO6P pass. I think he would know questions like that. And so, yeah. And so, now Naruto moves on to the second round, and so Tsunade and them are set up. And so when Orochimaru attacks Sasuke, yeah, he would attack Sasuke. Tsunade's there, and so it's just this huge fight, and Jiraiya heads over, and so then Orochimaru has to get away, and he barely does. And so he decides to bring back Kushina Uzumaki too. But he didn't know what's in store for him. And so now it's the preliminaries. And so Naruto has to fight against Rock Lee. And so, and Gaara faces a Sound Ninja. And so, when Rock Lee says, okay, let's go. So he's going with his weights. Naruto is easily keeping up, not even have to keep up with him because he is that speed. And he didn't even take off his gravity weights yet. And so, he says, then Rock Lee asks my guy, can he take off his weights? And Naruto looks at Itachi, and Itachi nods. And so Naruto hops on one of the things too, and then takes off all his gravity weights, which he is at level 5. And so then a huge gust of wind and chakra burst in the air. It's all his built up strength and stuff. And so then it just pushes people towards the ground, all the getting fall on their knees besides Gaara, who thinks perfect. And so Gaara thinks he will be the person who proves my existence. And so Naruto decides to, says let's go. And so then Naruto runs at Rock Lee, and he's actually beating Rock Lee, believe it or not. And so then he punches Rock Lee in the face, and then he decks him into the ground. And then Rock Lee coughs up blood. And then Naruto kicks him. And then Rock Lee thinks, I have to go 5 gates. And so then he goes into the 5th gate. And Naruto actually has to copy and go as fast as him. And so Naruto's going just as fast as Rock Lee. And Rock Lee is amazed that this is the KK Genkai of the Namikaze clan. So strong. And my guy knows that Rock Lee is going to lose. And so Kakashi says, Guy, your student's going to lose. Sorry. And so my guy nods. And then Sakura says, How? How is Naruto going to win? Rock Lee's going so fast. And my guy says, do you see Naruto going the same speed? And she says, well, yeah, but his attacks are barely hitting Rock Lee. And my guy says, well, yeah, that's because the Namikaze clan has a KK Genkai. And Sasuke says, what? No, they don't. And he says, well, people don't see it as it, but that's why they used to call them the Flashes of the Namikaze clan. So they got something from the Uchiha clan, like a trait, you could say, but it got purified. It's like some gene just supercharged it, and it made they can copy movements and go as fast as another person can, and it's amazing. And so then Sasuke gets mad and says, "They're copiers." And Mike Guy says, "Actually, no, they were Uchiha saw the Uchiha clan bland and bad, and so they left the clan and made the Namikaze clan. And this guy married an unknown lady, and she her genes might have made what happened. The Uchiha could probably copy the movements, but she can probably did something to the genes." And so they all nodded, and so Rock Lee says, "Well, what now?" And so said, "Well, Naruto." No, they said, "So what now?" And so he said, "Naruto will finish it soon." And so Naruto says, "Sorry, Rock Lee, but I'm gonna have to finish it." And then he says, sorry, my guy, I saw you do this move before." And so then he charges up blue chakra, pure blue chakra, and then he says, "His chakra is visible." And so then he supercharges it, making a blue beast. And so then he says, "That's amazing. I always wanted to do that. Minato could do that. I always wanted to do that. But it took too much chakra out of Minato. It was like his trump card." And so then Naruto supercharged it even more. And then he ran at Rock Lee. And so then he kicked Rock Lee in the stomach. And so right when he was about to break Rock Lee's rib, he stopped it. And then my guy caught Rock Lee and says, "Thank you. Thank you for not breaking his ribs or anything. I know you could have just broke his ribs and made him dead right now. Thank you, Naruto." And so Naruto says, "Oh, no problem. I would never injure a Leaf Shinobi that bad." And so then he says, "You're, you're so youthful. Feel the power. I feel the power of youth inside you." And so Naruto smiles at him, and he said, "If you need any training or anything, talk to me." And so Naruto nodded, saying bye. And so my guy smiled at Naruto. And so, Itachi says good job, and Hinata said good job too. And so there was a three-way match between Ino and Sakura and Hinata, and they both attacked Hinata, but Hinata did Juken strikes on them, and then they get knocked out. And so then it was like, that was quick. And so now they move on, and Hinata goes train with Hiyashi, and Naruto goes to train with Jiraiya and Tsunade. Tsunade is going to train Naruto on punches, and Jiraiya is going to teach him more of the Rasengan and toads and the foxes and the toads. And so after a month, so yeah, and so in the next one, the matches will be Naruto, Namikaze Uchiha versus Sasuke Uchiha. No, not Naruto Namikaze Uchiha. Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki versus Sasuke Uchiha. Gaara of the Sand versus Neji Hyuga. Hinata versus Tamari. And Shikamaru Nara. It's a three-way battle. And so, yeah. And so, see you guys.